Got Julia here again today, everybody. Big round of applause for her. And thank you, Erica. It's been a real blessing. Last week was last month was our first session. This is part 2, and we're going to be talking about the Big Bang today. And as you said, there's a bake sale with the table over there. And there's also a creation group that meets at Big Calvary. They meet the first, which is today, and the third Saturday of every month at 7:30. And their website is darwinisdead.com if you want to look that up. So there's more and more opportunities to hear a creation message. My website, as you might know, is fishdon'twalk.com. So anyways, okay. On the way in, we did a quiz on how deep can an emperor penguin dive. Now that's an emperor penguin there. How many people have taken part of the test? Okay, this is on the honor system. If you've taken it, why don't you stand up? Okay. If you said less than 100 feet, please sit down. If you said less than 200 feet, please sit down. 300 feet, sit down. 400, sit down. 500, 600, 700, 800, 900, 1,000, 1,200, 1,300. The answer is 1,500 feet. Now, how many people here? Well, I saw your answer. You're not going to win. What were your answers? Some of you that were the last to sit down. I can't see that far. How many? 35,000. Well, who thinks they're close to 1,500? Yes.
I guess 1,000.
Okay, can anybody beat 1,000 feet? Any of you? Okay, Julia, next one. You got it. And next one. There's the answer there. Can anybody beat 1,000? Okay, you win a prize, Eggman. Come on up. Before he goes, next one. There's a magazine that is really incredible. It's called Answers Magazine. It's by a group called Answers in Genesis. I'm going to give it to him. This month's issue, actually it comes out 4 times a year, every 3 months, is on astronomy. The reason I love it, it's on our level. They're not trying to impress PhDs. It's very simple astronomy, and that's what this issue is. You can have it for free. And they have an article on the emperor penguin. They always have articles on animals. They have articles for kids. Oh, and my wife is teaching a kids lesson. If you're a 1st through 5th grader and you'd like to hear her lesson perhaps, she's in the 5th grade room, which is around the corner, for your information on that. Now, if anyone is interested in seeing what the subscription is like for the Answers magazine, I'm not making any money off it. You can grab one of these. I'm selling them in the back. I bought a whole bunch of them. They're only $5. That's how much they cost me. We have a book table back there. The astronomy issue is on the back table. And if anybody would like one of these, would you want to raise your hand and see the sign up? Okay. Could you come up and pass them out as well? So anyone with their hands up, please? Great. All right, thanks. And I'd like to share a blessing I had last month. Richard over there asked me if there's anything he could do to help me. And so I put him to work, and one thing I had him do is call a lot of local colleges and politely ask questions about what the current beliefs are. And I'd like to thank Richard for doing that, and that's going to be part of the lesson today. Okay, next one please. How many people have seen Expelled? How many people liked it? How many people did not like it? Any of you? Okay, well I saw it. I thought it was very, very important. And I thought of a Far Side cartoon. I tried to find it on the internet, but I couldn't find it. The Far Side cartoon is of 2 deers. The one deer looks really scared, and he says to his friend, "You're right, they are trying to shoot us." Okay, can you imagine you're a deer in the woods and all of a sudden bullets are flying at you? Well, one good thing about the movie is to be aware that people are not crazy about your creation beliefs, perhaps. But an important thing to know, too, is not everyone is like that in the colleges. There's been cases where evolutionists have been very friendly towards creationists reaching their PhD. But it's very important to know that there's a lot of people out there who are not crazy about the idea, and I think the movie did a really good job of exposing that. My favorite scene is when the guy talked about life on the back of crystals. Do you remember that? And it's on YouTube. Ben Stein asked the guy, How do you think life originated? He goes, well, one popular theory is that it started on the back of crystals. And Ben Stein said something like, how? He said, I told you, crystals. Like, why don't you believe me? Now, after the movie came out, a lot of the evolutionists said something that was surprising. They said, we didn't know that guy was in favor of intelligent design. What difference does it make? Do you give one answer to one group of people and another answer to another group? It shouldn't matter who the group was, but I think it was very important, and hopefully it'll get people interested in the argument. Okay, next one, please. Quick review from last month. We're going to rip through this. Next one. Now, true or false, just because someone believes in the theory of evolution, does that mean they're an atheist? No, very, very important. The most important part of witnessing is perhaps the most important part of comedy. You have to know your audience. You have to know who you're talking to, ask questions, and listen to them. Next one. Okay, the most important part of science begins with letter O. Observation. Today we're going to talk about the Big Bang. Comes up in every field of science. Next one, please. Steps of science real quickly. You can go through these quick, Julia. You start with an idea. Next one, you test your ideas by making observations, and then you come up with a conclusion. There's a lot of ideas about the Big Bang. It's important to see if observation supports them or refutes them. And next one, please. Next one. You've heard this. We can't teach creation in school because it's religious. Next one. Now remember, the debate is not about whether it's religious. Next one. What's the debate about again? Next one. Whether it's true or not. A lot of people have ideas about the Big Bang. It's okay to question those, but often if you question them, people will say, oh, you must be religious. Always bring it back to a pursuit of truth. And next one, please. Remember this guy? Yeah. What would you say? Why do you believe in God? And right, I heard the answer up there. Next one. And next one. Design. Who remembers the fact that I like to share with people? Yes?
60,000 blood vessels.
Yep, 60,000 miles of blood vessels. Did anybody get a chance to use it this month? How did it go? Oh, really? How many did they think we should have?
They didn't know. They just simply thought that was an astronomical number.
Good. Good. Are you friends with a person? And you can.
My son-in-law.
Good. Good. Go to the internet. Good. I asked you if you're friends, not if he's your son-in-law. I get along great with my in-laws. But back it up with stuff on the internet and show it to him. Is he a believer or?
He says that he is if he's new.
Okay, good, good. Well, you can always back it up and give him more information. And if you share your faith, it's not the worst thing in the world to be stumped and say, can I get back to you and do more research? And that's how you get better and better. Yes. Next one for you. 60,000 miles of blood vessels. Very good foundation to begin with. Quickly, we'll go through this. I'll help her out. A design is something you plan for. That is planned for. You see that on your driveway. You probably think that's a result of design, right? Next one. And we'll go through this real quickly. We'll talk about you. Some nice facts to remember. You have 75 trillion cells. Next one. They're all in the right place. Nobody has bone cells on their eyeball, hair cells in your central nervous system. Next one. Every cell does 100,000 chemical reactions per second. Next one. And we did the math for you. Really, a good question is, if you befriend an atheist, is how complex does something have to get before you would admit it's a design? Could anything be complex enough? That's a fair question to ask. This is plenty complex for me. Next one. And next one. Oh, next one. Should have got rid of that one. Okay, you guys remember the answer to this, right? Right. Anybody share this during the month? Yes, how did it go?
Oh, it was good. They just were like, oh, yeah.
It makes sense.
This is good whether they're a believer or not. Which came first, everybody? Nice and loud?
Two chickens.
Right. And next one.
The same place.
Good, 2 chickens. You need a male and a female. And at the same time, they need a functioning reproductive system. And for their reproductive system to work, they need a functioning immune system, circulatory system, muscular system, skeletal system, nervous system, etc. What do they need to live? The right food.